Welcome back to Factorio SpaceX Extreme Edition, where we still haven't launched anything, but we have made some progress with our tech, and in fact we've completed space construction. Before we go on with the yabba too much longer, let's get something else underway. This is another 96,000 with 2 lots of red and green, 1 of blue and 1 of purple. Let's start that up, just so we can start now talking about the things that we've done since last time. So last time we were having issues with the blue production, blue science production that was. Let's do 5 seconds. Are we up to 10,000 yet? No. Again, we might get there. What about blue? Maybe not yet, because it's got to use the first 1,000 before it's going to do that. What I did with blue to make it work was, is this blue? Yes. I've added in an extra requester chest, and so when blue starts up, it will be taking from 2 sources for the miners, and that hopefully will ensure it remains sufficiently supplied to do what needs to be done. And this is moving quite nicely. Now, I've added in 3 more iron outposts. I am not 100% sure that 3 will be enough, but 3 is what I've done. Let's have a look. I have added in iron in the way 3, because if you follow the main drag through, this iron will in fact be in the way. So will the stone, but I'm less concerned about the stone. In fact, once we are coming through here, we will probably just keep on going this way until we find something else good. At the other end, I probably need to start chipping away at this copper. This main line is not turning for anything. It's going to just plow straight across here. That's my theory. Anyway, so that iron in the way 3 was one of them. The other ones are iron 8 and iron 7. I actually started out here first with iron 7 and then moved to iron 8. So that's the added stuff, if you like. We also added in, and you might be able to see it in action here, a little trick where I have added some information to the red line. Basically, it says whether there is space available in the stacker, which is the G. If G is 1, then it is good for entry for somebody into the stacker, and then the other item, in this case copper, means that copper is in demand, so copper trains are allowed out. So this is a stone train, so it's not allowed out. It's a very simple little mechanism. Basically, you get a red from either the lack of G or from the lack of stone, and 1 red will lock the exit. And that's been applied to everything except those things that are in the way. So if we come back into here, the stacker, it doesn't have enough room for all of our trains. As you can see, there's 20, 25, 30. Now admittedly, they're not all like the oil ones. For oil, obviously, plastic and sulfuric acid and lube and landfill, so that's 5 that don't go to the stacker, but the stacker only has 18 lanes, so that mechanism should hopefully allow the stacker to prioritize who's allowed in and who's not. Right, here we go. We are seriously dipping into the lower UPS. Probably because we're looking at a screen full of bots and it's having to render it. Let's look instead at that. Come down to science. Make sure that science appears to be running, which it does. Have a look at our supply. So far iron is holding out. Blue is probably about to start kicking into gear because it's just dropped below 100. So blue and purple would be worth looking at. Now purple is only supposed to do 2,500 per minute. So given that this can burn 10,000 per minute, it will actually lower the values in storage of purple and green. I don't mind that happens though. Let us see on production. So we're getting 9-ish thousand from red and green. Blue is right on the cusp, or it is there. What's the 1 minute? Well, it's only just started, so that's why I was on the 5 seconds. It seems to be dropping again. Because blue should be doing 5,000. Purple should only be doing 2.5, which it is. Military probably isn't doing anything because it's not used in this research. And what are we doing with plates? Let's do the 1 minute for that. 130 plus about at 15, so about 145,000, which should be quite manageable for our system. Let's come back up, see if the stacker is working out. Seems to be. So what signal are we getting? We're getting the iron trains are allowed to come. The copper is not at the moment. So there's an open path here. How is power doing? That's the other thing. I'm not sure if I mentioned power, but I added in another one of these, so we should be getting the capability for 11 gigawatts. How are we doing, in fact? Well, we are going over 10, so probably just as well. We're not hitting yellow at all, so that's fine. It's a good thing. Let's go back to that production. 1 minute. So blue is up, but maybe that's not as much as we really wanted. Although that is about half what we are getting out of red and green, so maybe there is an issue in terms of how much can actually be consumed. I'm not sure. What are the total levels of all these things? Blue is pretty much up there. If we have a look at consumption, that's actually a fairly good way of telling as well. Yeah, we're not actually consuming more than like the 7,000. And these at about half. So maybe, in fact, we could do with more labs. I mean, is this constantly going? Huh. Maybe it's not with the system. Because it's constantly having its stockpiles removed. but there's tons more, so every time it gets removed it can get replenished immediately. Not sure. Still, given we have built for slightly higher volumes, I could probably add another third labs, which would mean we'd go up to 800 labs. Maybe that is what we should do. I do want to check. I think iron ore levels are dropping. Although iron is staying where it needs to, I think iron ore is dropping, so we still don't have enough, which is sort of what I expected. Electronic circuits are doing okay. Red and blue seem to be doing okay. UPS is, well, it is what it is. That's all we can really say. It's probably going to get worse too when we get more of the sciences going at once. A lot safer to look at this in the map view. So that would seem to be yes. Both copper and iron now are allowed to go, so if we were looking at these outposts, it shouldn't be blocked. Oh, that's the way in. It's not blocked. That's good. And iron is coming out. Very good. And here we're using 4 rungs of the iron. The 5th and 6th are so far holding steady, which is good, although the trains look quite funny at this speed, at 28, 29 UPS. Power still holding. Oh, it is, but only just. I don't think we'll be able to get much bigger until we have more power, more nuclear power. Come on, you need to come down here. Oh, you're coming down there. Alright. Yeah, iron ore, in spite of all these trains, is dropping. But it may be that we're kind of as many as we can get coming in here at a time. You actually can't come into this one, can you? But you probably can. And you are waiting for that bottom line, which is now free. So off you go. Is it going to settle at 90, or is it going to keep dropping? Oh, there you go, it's over 90. I guess it's just finding an equilibrium at a slightly lower level than when it had no demand at all, which is fair enough. How are we doing for bots? 59,000, they're still growing. It would be nice if electric network 1, logistic manager 1.1, train 0.7. Our entire usage really is tied up in this entity update. Which I guess ends up mainly being bots, but there are so many other things that we've got. I mean, 2,923 cells in this network, that's pretty serious. And now we're at a point where we're probably just plummeting with our iron ore because there's no more trains left. Iron. Oh, 79, that's not too terrible. But yeah, I mean obviously we've got all of these open paths and only one train able to serve it. All these copper trains here, but no iron trains. So yeah, my 3 extra is not enough. Which, yeah, as I said, is probably not altogether unexpected. Here we go, I'm guessing this is iron. Yeah. They're finally turning up. How are we going with our deliberate depletion? 4.8. It's still a long way to go. As I said at the beginning, these ones I'm not stopping for anything. They can just deplete away. Landfill's down to a mill. I guess we'll probably landfill to about here. I think there was somewhere else that I wanted to put some landfill in. Maybe the nuclear area needs to be filled out a bit further. I also did a bit more nuking out here. Found another 41 million iron. So we're probably going to want to bring that online, but we do have a couple of tiny ones on the way, and this one here, 11 million. Slightly annoying with the coal to bring online. This one up here is a decent one with 28 million. There's some tiny ones there. It's pretty 10, 12, 21, but it's kind of in the way of the oil. And I mean, of course, the other thing we need to look at is with this tech coming through, if we start looking at the others, we need yellow and military there. Fusion needs yellow and military. We could do space thrusters, habitation modules and fuel cells need yellow. Yellow, yellow. So there's only one other choice here that doesn't need yellow before we get into the FTL side of things. So yeah. I guess what that means is we need to put yellow in, and then we need to start launching, because I certainly would like to get some space science, which we also need, but also just to get some bot speed, see if that can help us a little with this UPS issue. How are these guys going? They're still not coping. How's our iron ore? Yeah, 53. It's definitely dropping, isn't it? Well, yellow science. I guess that's going to go here. The only thing is we need batteries, don't we? batteries, and we've got to work out where we're going to make those batteries. Do I ship the iron and copper? Well, we're getting sulfuric acid up here. Where is it? Sulfuric acid is coming in here. Anyway. Maybe I make batteries here. Though I am concerned that might cut down on our ability to make sufficient sulfuric acid. I mean, we're not really using blue at the moment, so we'll certainly know fairly soon. I guess that's probably the best bet. We make batteries here. Now, how many batteries are we going to need is the question. One for every two, and high-tech is like purple, so we're basically aiming for 1250 iterations, which is 2500 per second. So yeah, 1250 batteries a second. That should be very doable. Well, I guess I will work on that and setting up the yellow science for next time. I mean, it's actually about midnight here, so I'm probably going to call it quits anyway in a moment. But yeah, that's sort of setting it up. I just wanted to see if the things I'd put in place were sort of working. I think certainly my pre-stacker at the mine stacker is keeping this clear, which is good. But the other thing is, unless iron ore has gone up a whole lot, 30, which it hasn't, I definitely didn't build enough extra iron ore. Where are we? We're up here. I think we did get just enough for the sciences we've got in terms of power, but once we bring yellow on, we're going to need some more. And clearly we are researching pretty damn fast. How are we doing? 1 minute. Yeah, it's about 7,500 that is actually getting produced, but that's just because we have limited the amounts to 100, and if they stay at 100, it's because we're not actually consuming them any faster than that, rather than our supply not being able to keep up. Production as expected, production science that is dropping off a little bit because we're burning it at the rate of sort of 3,700 and only producing at 2,500. But that is fine. That is fine. And we're running at half speed, which is fine too. So had we been running at full speed, we would have finished space casings in this single episode. But as we're running at half speed, we did not. And just so you can remember, we are burning 96,000. They're 1 minute 20 science. And we need 2 reds and 2 greens per cycle. So yeah, a fairly expensive science, obviously not in the FTL range, but yeah, pretty expensive anyway. Anyway, that will have to do us for now. Thanks for joining me. I look forward to seeing you next time, and hopefully we'll make a good start on the yellow. See you around.